Minutes after takeoff,
Captain!
the crew of a passenger plane struggles to save their aircraft. The investigation will reveal that a minor event can be catastrophic.
Speed brakes!
It's 3 p.m. at Terminus International Airport.
Unrestricted forward. Contact departure. Bye-bye.
And the traffic is high today. Among the planes scheduled to take off,
Line up and wait.
Skyward Airways Flight 102, which has Main Airport as its destination.
Runway 02, check it clear.
On the right seat, First Officer Charlie Palmer, who joined the airlines 2 years earlier.
Flaps.
Set, 15 degrees.
At his left, Captain Julian Roberts, at 51 years old. He is one of the most experienced pilots of the airline.
I actually already flew with Captain Roberts. He was an incredible person.
Landing lights on. Checklist completed.
Skyward 102. Aircraft takeoff. Wind speed 80 degrees. 13 knots.
Skyward 102.
This is Captain Robert, who is in command.
Thrust set.
The pilots are at the control of an RL-42.
80 knots.
Check.
The RL-42 is a regional aircraft that was pretty stable for its time. It was made for the transport of passengers into small airports.
There are 38 passengers and 5 crew members on board.
V1 and rotate.
At 3:45 p.m., the plane takes off.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Skyward 102. Contact departure. Not the same flight.
It will take 2 hours to reach Hills Airport and then to reach Main Airport, its final destination. Passengers prepare for the flight.
After takeoff checklist, landing lights off and autopilot set. Checklist completed.
$23,000.
30 minutes later, the plane reaches his cruising altitude of 23,000 feet.
Skyward 102. The wind on your way is strongly weird, so take care.
Skyward 102, roger.
But as the plane continues on his way,
Whoa.
Hang on! Turbulence!
the plane suddenly rolled left.
The ailerons! They're not responding!
Ailerons are movable surface used to tilt the plane, but they seem not responding.
Full power engine 1!
The captain increases the power of the left engine, hoping to level the plane. It works. The plane stabilizes.
Okay, we have flight controls problem. Declare Mayday. We need to come back.
Okay. Archipelago Center, Skyward 102, Mayday.
We're having flight control problems. We're requesting vectors to come back at Terminus.
Skyward 102. This is Archipelago Center. Turn left heading 040.
We can't use the control column to level off, so we need to keep the plane stable.
Alright, copy.
After 35 minutes of flight, the pilots decided to return at Terminus Airport. Meanwhile, emergency services are getting ready at the airport. But then the air traffic controller noticed something worrying on his radar. The plane is descending. He is unaware that the pilots have completely lost control of their aircraft.
Damn it!
Bank angle, bank angle. Sync rate.
Captain!
Push me!
Bank
Come on!
We're inverted!
Sync
Even
rate.
inverted, we're still flying. We need to slow down.
Bank angle.
Ah!
Seeing Flight 102 descending out of control, the air traffic controller tries to contact the crew,
Skyward 102. Do you copy?
but he gets no answer. In the cockpit, the crew tries everything
Sync rate.
to recover the
Sync
plane.
rate. Pull up.
Speed brakes!
Sync rate.
Sink rate.
A few minutes after reporting flight control issues, Skyward Airways Flight 102 disappeared from air traffic control radar.
My God.
Skyward Airways Flight 102 crashed in the ocean at 4 kilometers from Archipelago Island. No one has survived.
It was a terrible accident that would require a major investigation.
What caused the sudden crash of Flight 102? Investigators from the Transportation Safety Board are tasked with answering this question. They start their investigation by interrogating the ATC. He indicates the pilots requested a turnaround due to flight control problems. It was therefore 4:54 p.m. But only 3 minutes later, he saw the plane dive on his radar until it disappeared, which means the accident happened quickly.
Bank angle.
Investigators then dig into the reasons for the flight control failure.
Flight control failures are often the result of design flaws or inadequate maintenance.
2 years before the crash, an RL-42 lost one of its doors minutes after takeoff due to an improper maintenance. The plane became uncontrollable and crashed in the ocean. 26 people perished. Did the same problem occur on Flight 102? As some investigators attempt to verify whether the plane may have undergone improper maintenance during its use, another team is trying to find the flight recorders, which are located in the ocean, several meters below the surface. Using sonar, they try to locate the different parts of the plane. And they make a major discovery. The plane's debris is scattered over a very wide area, which means the plane broke up in mid-flight. Further analysis of the debris shows that it was the rear part of the plane that detached first, before the entire airframe of the aircraft broke apart. Using this method, investigators were able to define the search area and find the 2 flight recorders a week later in a good shape. After a few days of extraction, they will finally be able to listen to what was said in the cockpit. They synchronized the 2 flight recorders, the CVR and the FDR, to know what happened in the cockpit. After several minutes of flight, the crew received a warning from the controller.
Skyward 102, the window new is strongly weird, so take care.
Skyward 102, roger.
Then a jolt due to turbulence follows.
Whoa.
Hang on! Turbulence!
By comparing this part with the flight data recorder, investigators made a surprising discovery.
Whoa.
When the aircraft banked, the autopilot attempted to correct the bank. The ailerons tilted, but then, without explanation, they returned to position and they never moved again.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
The investigators then listened to the part again to find the reason for this failure.
Whoa! Hang on! Turbulence!
And they notice a kind of bang just before the autopilot disconnects.
Hang on! Turbulence!
A comparison with the FDR reveals that it was at this same moment that the aileron began to lose response. A theory then emerges. Was the explosion the cause of the loss of control of Flight 102?
Speed brakes!
TSB investigators continue to listen to the CVR to determine why the plane crashed 3 minutes after declaring an emergency.
We can't use the control column to level off, so we need to keep the plane stable.
Alright, copy.
First Officer Palmer is running an emergency checklist, while Captain Roberts have the control. But as the plane returns to the airport, it encounters more turbulence. And just seconds later, a violent gust of wind flips the plane over.
Damn it!
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Captain!
The pilots then engage in a struggle to regain control.
Push me!
Bank
Come on!
angle. Bank
We're
angle.
inverted! Even inverted, we're still flying.
We need to slow down.
Bank angle.
The CVR showed that the pilots were helpless in this kind of situation.
Speed brakes!
Bank angle.
Sink rate.
Bank
Sink
angle.
rate.
Bank
Pull
angle.
up.
Investigators are now sure that plane suffered a flight control failure, but they need to know whether it was a design flaw or improper maintenance. It is then that they finally receive the aircraft maintenance report from the airline, and they discover that the plane underwent maintenance a few hours before takeoff. Going further, they discovered that the maintenance technicians had incorrectly installed the aileron servo valves, making them vulnerable to violent impacts. With this discovery, investigators now have an idea of what caused the crash of Flight 102.
Thrust set.
The pilots began takeoff, unaware that a few hours earlier, maintenance technicians had incorrectly installed the aileron controls, making them fragile. Everything was going well until, at 23,000 feet, the plane encountered severe turbulence.
Whoa.
The plane banked, and the autopilot violently corrected the bank. But this action results in breaking the aileron controls, rendering them inoperative.
Full power engine 1.
Thanks to the crew's composure, they nevertheless managed to partially regain control. The pilots somehow managed to keep the plane in the air, but a gust of wind sealed their fate.
Captain!
Looking back, the plane wouldn't have gotten out of control without that gust of wind. That's what's sad about this crash.
At about 10,000 feet and at over 450 knots, the plane begins to break up.
Speed brakes.
Seconds later, the plane broke apart in mid-air, killing 43 people. On February 10, 1982, the TSB published their investigation report. It stated that the accident was primarily due to improper maintenance due to a lack of training on the part of the airline's technicians. But the weather also played a significant role in the crash. They began to call for improved training for technicians and asked airlines to try to avoid areas of turbulence in the sky. The pilots received a tribute for their composure during this flight.
This accident was an important milestone in the history of aviation.
Checklist completed.
It helped us understand that a simple maintenance error can lead to a major disaster. Training should always be taken seriously, regardless of the profession.